Hey everyone, so we're going to be going over the question, what is the clockwise term from north to east? Circle your answer. It's a 1 mark question and we have 4 options of 45, 90, 270 or 315 degrees. So I think the best way to explain this question is bringing up a compass. Obviously you won't be able to bring this up in your exam, but I think once you learn it, it's going to be quite easy to remember. So we need to note that we're facing north and then we're going to be turning east. And we're going to be turning clockwise, so that's to the right. Clockwise also means that if you're looking at a clock and the hands spin to the right, that's what clockwise means. So as you can see, we have our degrees labeled. So if we went from north to east, that's going to be a 90-degree turn. And you may or you may not remember, but a whole spin is 360 degrees. So that means if we turn behind us from north to south, that'd be 180 degrees. And if we turn clockwise from north to west, it'd be 270. In this case, we're turning from north to east, so it's going to be a 90-degree turn. So in this case, the answer is going to be 90 degrees. I think the best thing for this is probably just to practice it. You can remember that 360 degrees is a full spin and 180 degrees is just turning behind you. So that'd be from north to south, for example. Now, hopefully that made sense. Obviously, our answer is going to be 90 degrees. And you can see I've also represented that by a little square. That means a 90-degree angle. I hope that was clear. I feel like it was quite a straightforward one, but if you do have any comments or questions, please feel free to drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Anyway, best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 2 and it says D is 6 more than C, circle the correct equation and we have 4 options. This is a 1 mark question. So for me in my head, I kind of think to myself, well, we have C and D is 6 more than C. So if we were to write that down, D would just be equal to C plus 6 because we're taking C, we're adding 6 and that's going to give us D. So luckily D equaling C plus 6 is one of the options, so we circle that, that's the correct answer. And I think that's the most straightforward way I can probably explain it. If you do want me to go into a bit more detail or answer any questions that weren't made clear, just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. But I honestly think that's probably the best way to explain the answer. Anyway, I hope the video helped. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we have question number 3 here and it says here is a number line. We have a number line which goes from 2 till 3. It's got some markings on there and it's also got 1 marking labelled A. It says which number is at A, circle your answer. And we have 4 options of 2.3, 2.55, 2.6, 2.75 and this is a 1 mark question. So the way I decided to tackle this question is think, well, let's find the midpoints and then from there we can work out other midpoints. So for example, we have 2 and 3 and there's a line bang in the middle between them, so we can see they're equal distance apart. So if we want to find the midpoint between 2 and 3, all we have to do is add 2 and add 3 and then we can divide by 2. Now this is a calculator past paper as well, so you can use your calculator. So you just do 2 plus 3 and then divide it by 2. So our midpoint is going to be 2.5. So now we've got a midpoint. So now we've got this midpoint, we can find the midpoint between 2.5 and 3 because that's going to give us A. So we just do the same thing again. We take 2.5 plus 3 divided by 2. That's going to give us A as 2.75. You know, you don't have to do it this way. You can kind of just eyeball it and kind of work it out from there. Or, you know, you can say, well, we've got like 3 equal distant parts or 4 equal distance parts. Maybe we should divide them by 4, etc., etc. But I think this is probably the most straightforward way to do it and the best way to make sure you don't make any mistakes. So I hope that was clear. I hope that helped. If you do have any comments or questions about this, drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Thank you so much for watching and best of luck with your maths. Hey everyone, so in this question we have 4 angles inside this quadrilateral and we need to decide which one of them is an obtuse angle. So we have 4 options obviously. Now just a recap of what an obtuse angle is. An obtuse angle is larger than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. Here's a little visual representation. So we have a 90-degree angle there, it's a right angle, and 180 degrees is a straight line. So the angle is going to be between these two. So we can just see visually from the quadrilateral shape that we have a right angle, we have 2 angles that are smaller than 90 degrees, and our obtuse angle is going to be here. So the answer is going to be ADC. That's how you would write that angle. You'd do ADC, and that's going to be our final answer to this question. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have any comments or questions, you know, drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Hopefully that helped. Best of luck with your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to go over question 5a and we have to write down 2 prime numbers between 25 and 35. Now it says the two prime numbers, so I'm assuming there's going to be only two. It's a 2-mark question and we need to answer the two prime numbers. So firstly, let's write out 25 to 35 as whole numbers. From the phrasing of the question, it seems like they don't want 25 and 35, but let's include them anyway because they're going to get cancelled out because they're not prime numbers. So what you can do is go through it individually and say, hey, which one of these are prime numbers? So if you don't remember, a prime number is a number that can only be divided by itself and 1. So if it can be divided by 2, 3, 5, any of these numbers, then it's not a prime number. So let's get rid of some straight off the bat and see which can be divided by 5. That's going to be 25, 30 and 35, so we can get rid of them. Next up, any that can be divided by 3, so that's going to be 27, 30, 33, they're going to be gone. And then a nice easy one, which I guess we probably should have started with, is 2. So anything that can be divided by 2, that's not a prime number. So we've gotten rid of 26, 28, 30 was already gone, obviously 32 and 34. And then luckily enough, we actually have 2 left over. This is just coincidental that we have 2 left, but what I would do is just go through them individually and see if they're a prime number or not. Just think, can they be divided by anything? Or you can do what I did and say, let's divide by 5 or 3 or 2 and see which one of them get excluded when you go through that process. So we're left with 29 and 31. Those are going to be our 2 prime numbers between 25 and 35. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you have any more comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best luck with all your maths and thanks so much for watching.
Hey everyone, so today in this video we're going to write down one cube number between 100 and 300, and this is a 1-mark question. So first thing we want to work out, what is a cube number? Well, a cube number is when you take a number, a whole number, and you cube it, so you times it by itself and then by itself again. So for example, 3 cubed would be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. Obviously not between 1 and 300, but 27 would be the cube number. Let's try 4 cubed and see if we can get another cube number between 100 and 300. So next one would be 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. So 64 is a cube number, but it's not between 100 and 300. Let's try 5 cubed, so 5 times 5 times 5, that gives us 125. So that is a cube number between 100 and 300. You could have also had 6 cubed because that will give you 216, and if you have 7 cubed it will give you 343, but that will be above the 300. So 125 or 216 would have been acceptable answers for this question. Hopefully that made sense, and if you do want me to explain anything or go into further detail, just drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you there. Best luck with all your maths and thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 6a and it's when we have 2 straight lines and we're working with opposite angles. So here the 2 angles are marked 43 degrees and W. Now whenever you have 2 straight lines crossing each other like this, the opposite angles are always going to be equal. So if we have to write down the size of angle W, it's going to be 43 degrees because the angle opposite it is also 43 degrees. So that's the final answer. It's a 1-mark question. I hope that helped, and if you do have any comments or questions about this, please feel free to just drop it down below. Best luck with your maths and thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so this is question 6b and today we're going to be looking at angles on a straight line. So for this question it says here are 2 different straight lines. Work out the size of angle X, and it's a 1-mark question. So what we're dealing with here really is just one straight line, and that's the straight line that has angles 62 degrees and X on it, and they're basically split by the other line. Now if you don't know, 2 angles on a straight line always add up to 180 degrees. So we're going to use that bit of information now to work out angle X. So we can make this little formula, 62 degrees plus X is equal to 180 degrees. Let's just rearrange it and subtract 62 degrees from both sides. So X is going to be 180 degrees minus 62 degrees, and then X is going to be 118 degrees. And again, that's because we've used the fact that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you have any comments or questions about the question, just feel free to drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. So welcome to question 6c, and we're going to be working on angles within a triangle. So question 6c says, in a triangle 2 of the angles are 51 degrees and 74 degrees. Work out the size of the third angle, and it's a 1-mark question. So the first thing we're going to do is make X the unknown angle. So we're going to label call it x. Now from here we need to use the fact that all angles in every triangle add up to 180 degrees. You're obviously going to have 3 angles in each triangle, so if you know 2 of them you can work out the third. So with that bit of knowledge we know x plus 51 degrees plus 74 degrees is equal to 180 degrees, because we're using the fact that all angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And if you just rearrange that and subtract 51 degrees and 74 degrees from 180 degrees, it gives us x as 55 degrees. So hopefully that all made sense, hopefully it was clear. If you do have any other comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best of luck with your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so this is question 7a and we have to solve 12 minus e is equal to 0. So first thing we want to do is write out our question. So 12 minus e is equal to 0. Now what we're going to want to do is add e to both sides of the equation. Other people might refer to it as moving the e to the right hand side, but what we're really doing is just adding e to both sides. So we're going to have a plus e on both sides of the equation. Now on the left hand side these are going to cancel out because we have a plus e and minus e, so we're just going to be left with 12 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we just have 0 plus e. So the 0 can just be getting rid of because it's the same as having nothing there, so you could do 0 or nothing, it doesn't make a difference because we have something else there on the right hand side. The other thing we have is obviously the plus e. Now we have the plus e left. We don't need to write the plus because that's just a given whenever you have a number or letter that is a plus, unless it has a minus in front of it, so we can get rid of that plus sign and we're just left with e on the right hand side. So we just have 12 is equal to e. So for our final answer we have e is equal to 12, and that's pretty much how you do this question. If you were confused by anything I said or if it wasn't clear, please feel free to just leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best luck with your maths. I hope this video helped and thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 7b and we're working out 7f is equal to 0 and we need to solve for f. So it's a 1 mark question. Now the first thing, as I always like to do, is write out the question. So we have 7f is equal to 0. So if we want to get f by itself, what we can do is divide both sides by 7, because that means the 7 on the left will cancel out and you'll see what happens on the right hand side when we divide 7 by 0. So let's divide both sides by 7, and like I said before, the 7's on the left hand side will cancel out because 7 divided by 7 is 1. 1 times f is just f, so they basically just cancel out. So we have f on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have 0 divided by 7. Now when you divide 0 by anything, it is just 0. So 0 divided by 7 is going to be 0. So on the right hand side we have 0, on the left hand side we have f, so f is going to be equal to 0. Now I realise I went through that quite quick, so if you have any other comments or questions, drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there and answer them. Anyway, best of luck with your maths and thanks for watching the video. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing question 8 and we need to put these probabilities in order, starting with the least likely. So we've got 72%, 0.705, and we have 7 over 10, which is 7 tenths, and it's a 2 mark question. So when they say we need to start with the least likely, we basically need to order them from smallest to largest probability, and I think the best way to just visually see which is the smallest and which is the largest is turning them into a percentage. We could turn them all into fractions over the same denominator, or we could turn them all into decimals, but I think the easiest thing to do is just turn them all into percentages. So let's turn the other probabilities into a percentage. So if we want to take the decimal, which is 0.705, and then times it by 100, this will turn it into a percentage. So 0.705 times 100 is 70.5% as a percentage. And then the same for the fraction as well. So all you have to do is times it by 100. So we have 7 over 10 times 100, and that's going to give you 70%. Now again, this is a calculator exam past paper, so you're welcome to just use your calculator and you should be able to easily just input that in on there and then get your answer. But if you do have any comments or questions about that or anything else in this video, please feel free to just link it down below and I'll get back to you there. So now we've converted them into percentages, we can see we have 72%, 70.5%, that's the decimal, and 70% is the fraction. So if we want to put them in the order from least to most likely probabilities, we'd start with the 70%, which is 7 over 10, and then we'd be going over to the 70.5%, which is 0.705, and then the largest one is the 72%. So that's going to be our final answer. Hopefully it helped. If you do again have any comments or questions, drop them down below. Best luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we have question 9 here and we need to complete this table. Now for the table we have x values which go 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we have a blank. And then for the y values we have 3, 7, 11, we have a blank, and then we have 19 and then 23. It says the x values in the table make a linear sequence and and the y values in the table make a different linear sequence. So a linear sequence, I'm pretty sure, is just when there is the same difference between each number every time. So for example, let's say it's increasing by 5 each time, it will constantly be like +5, +5, +5, or there'll be a difference of 5 each time. And for question 9a, it asks us to complete the table, and it's a 2-mark question. So let's try and complete the x values first. So we have one blank for the x values, and if we look from 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, you can see that it's a +2 each time. So it goes 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. So we can see there's a trend of +2. So if we want to go from 8 to fill in the blank, it's going to be 8 plus 2, which is 10. So the answer for the top line is going to be 10, and we can see it's increasing by 2 each time. Hopefully that was clear. If that wasn't clear or didn't make sense, let me know in the comment section. Please feel free to pause the video and you can give the y value a go, or I will be going through that anyway, so it doesn't matter. So similar technique for the y values. We can see 3 to 7, 7 to 11, and then 11 to blank, and then blank to 19, and then 19 to 23. So another pattern I can see here is that it seems to be +4 each time. That seems to be a common theme. So if we want to fill in the blank by going from 11 to blank, well, it'll be 11 plus 4. That will give us 15. And that also makes sense going from 15 to 19. That's +4 as well. So it all makes sense. So again, hopefully that was all clear. That is the final answer for this question. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. Best of luck with all your maths, and thanks so much for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing question 9b. And we have to draw a straight line passing through the points 0, 3, 2, 7, and 4, 11. And it's a 2-mark question. So you can see we obviously have this graph paper on the left, and we've got the x-axis on the bottom, goes 0 to 4, and then we've got the y-axis on the top, it goes 0 to 11. So let's draw one of these points at a time. Now 0, 3, whenever you see a point in this form, it means the x and then the y value. So it's going to be 0 for the x value and then 3 for the y value. So we look at our x-axis and we start with 0. So we stay at 0 on the x-axis, and then we go up by 3 because it's 3 for the y value. That's going to give us this point right here. So that's going to be 0, 3. And in terms of the second point, and please feel free to pause the video if you want to give it a go yourself. So the second point is going to be 2, 7. So on the x-axis we look at point 2, and then on the y-axis we look at 0.7. So where they meet is going to be here. So that's going to be 0.27. And then we do the same for 4, 11. So 4 on the x-axis and 11 on the y-axis. So we have that point here. So now we need to draw a straight line through the point. So in the exam, you'll be using a ruler and a pencil. Best to use a pencil so you can scrub it out in case it does go wrong for whatever reason. All you need to do is line up your ruler with these 3 points. Make sure the line goes through the middle of all the 3 points, and then just draw it, and that should give you a straight line passing through all the points. So once you've done that, that will be the final answer, and that should get you the 2 marks. If you have any comments or questions about this, please feel free to just drop them down below, and I'll do my best to explain a bit more there if anything wasn't clear. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. Best luck with your maths, and yeah, thanks again for watching. Hey everyone, so we have question 9c where we need to use the graph to work out the value of y when x is equal to 3. Now in question 9b, we marked the 3 points and then drew a straight line. So this is basically our graph line. Now we have this graph, we need to work out the value of y when x is equal to 3. So all we have to do is mark where x is equal to 3 on this graph, see where it meets the line, and then the corresponding y value will be 9. And you can see from the straight line that it will go up in x and y values in certain proportions. But if you want to know a given y value, you just look at the x value, see where it meets the line, and then go across on the y value. And you can also do the same if you had a given y value and want to work out the corresponding x value. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to drop them down below. Best luck with your maths, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we have question 10a here, and it says when 5 is added to a negative number, the answer can be positive. Now we need to give one example to show that this is correct, and it's a 1-mark question. So the question is basically saying, can you choose a negative number, add 5 to it, and then it be a positive number? Well, we are able to do that. The first thing we need to look at is our boundary. So for it to be a negative number, it has to be less than 0. But we also know it has to be larger than -5, because if you take, for example, -7 and you add 5, it's still going to be a negative. So our range is just going to be between 0 and -5. So let's pick a number between that. I've chosen -3. So if we take -3 and add 5, that's going to be equal to 2. So we've proven the statement above because we've chosen a negative number. we've added 5, and now we've got a positive number. Now this rule isn't going to be true for every single negative number, but it is true for this case, and that's all we needed to prove. So hopefully that made sense. If you do have any comments or questions, you can just drop them down below. I think that was the best way I probably could have explained that, but if I missed anything out, or if you have any questions, just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Thanks for watching the video and best of luck with your maths. Hey everyone, so we have question 10b and it says when 5 is added to a negative number, the answer can be negative. Give one example to show that this is correct, and it's a 1-mark question. So for question 10a, we did a slightly different one where we have to prove that you can add 5 to a negative number and the outcome can be positive. This time we want to make sure that the outcome is negative. So this question is basically saying, can you pick a negative number, add 5 to it, and then the answer still be negative? So we're going to have to pick a number smaller than -5. So for example, -6, -7, because if we choose a negative number between -5 and just below 0, then it's going to give us a positive output. So you can pick pretty much any number smaller than -5. I've chosen -7. So if we take -7 and add 5, we're going to get -2. So that is one of the correct answers. There's multiple other correct answers as well, as long as you get a negative outcome using 5 and a negative number. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. I have a playlist so far for this past paper, and please feel free to subscribe or like or donate. It would really help the channel. And yeah, I appreciate you watching the video, and best of luck with all your maths. Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 10c, and it says when a number is doubled, the answer is always greater than the original number. Give one example to show that this is not correct. And it's a 1-mark question. So I don't know whether the answer is jumping to mind for you, but if you take a normal positive number and you double it, it's always going to be larger than the initial number. But when you're working with negative numbers, so anything less than 0, like -1, -2 and onwards, and then you double that, it's actually going to get smaller because we're really just timesing it by 2. So let's take, for example, -3 and times it by 2. Now we're doubling it, but it's going to be equal to -6. And -6 is actually smaller than -3, so we've taken our original number of -3, doubled it, and it's actually gotten smaller. So that's pretty much the answer for this question. I hope that made sense, but if it didn't, leave any comments or questions down below and I'll try my best to get back to you there. Anyway, best of luck with your maths, and I appreciate all the views and support. So yeah, thanks again for watching and best of luck. Hey everybody, so today we're doing question 11 and we're completing a frequency tree. So the question says 480 people are asked if they eat sushi, 20% say yes, and 2/3 of the people who say yes eat sushi at least once a month. Complete the frequency tree, and it's a 4-mark question. So if 480 people, and then we have a yes or no, that's whether they eat sushi, and then of those that do eat sushi, we have a yes or no, and it says whether you eat it at least once a month. So let's start to fill this out. Now we're going to be using the fact that 20% said yes to eating sushi. We have 480 people, and we're going to times 480 by 20%. But as this is a calculator paper, you can just use your calculator to work out 20% of 480. So what you can do is push your shift button, and it's just above the answer on my calculator. You can see a little percentage sign, so you can use that to write 20%, and you can times that by 480. If you have a different calculator, it might be a different way of doing it. Maybe you do shift and you push a different button, but that's how you do it on my one. Probably use a similar technique on your calculator, so hopefully that helps you find it on the calculator. So we do 480 times 20%, that gives us 96. So 20% said yes, that's 96, so we put 96 people in the yes column for the eating sushi. So 96 people said yes, so if we want to work out how many said no, it's just going to be the total amount of people minus 96. So 384 said no. You can see these as the remainder of people. If 96 said yes, well, and it's a yes or no question, the rest of them obviously said no. So 480 minus 96 is 384 people. Cool, hopefully that's all clear so far. Now the next part says that 2/3 of the people who say yes eat sushi at least once a month. So we have 96 people, 2/3 of them eat sushi at least once a month. So let's work out how many people said yes to that. We just take 96 times 2/3, and that's going to be equal to 64. And if you don't know how to put that into your calculator, you can see this little fraction button on the left here, or you can do 2 divided by 3, and then that's going to be equal to your answer. And then you can do answer times 96. Either one of those methods should work. So we've put 64 here because we know 64 of them said yes to this second question. And if we want to work out how many people said no, it's easy. We just work out the remainder like before. So we do 96 minus 64, and that's going to be equal to 32 people. So we just put 32 in the no section, and that's it. That's our final answer. we filled in the whole of the frequency tree, so that should get you all 4 marks. If you do have any comments or questions about the process or anything really, just drop them down below and I'll get back to you there. I hope this video helped and best of luck with all your maths. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 12 and it says event A has taken place every 4 years, event B has taken place every 3 years, both events took place in 2019, work out the last year before 2019 when both events took place, and this is a 2-mark question. So one thing you can do is work out the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4, and that is effectively going to be the first time a number occurs that can be divided by 3 and 4, and because of this it will be the first time when 3 and 4 both occur, so event A and event B occur. So as the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 is 12, we know we can subtract 12 from 2019 to give us 2007, and that will be the next time that event A and B occur. Now I'm going to go over another technique, but let me know if you have any questions or comments, I'll answer them below. So the other technique is writing out the years of event A and event B and basically just visually looking at when they first match. So for event A we have 2019, 2015, 2011, 2007, etc. We're just subtracting 4 years each time. And then for event B, we're just going to subtract 3 years each time. And you can visually see that the first time they both match is 2007. So that's also another technique you can use. I would say use whichever technique you're most comfortable with, but if you're not sure about lowest common multiples, I would definitely recommend looking into them. So I hope that made sense. Again, any comments or questions, please feel free to drop them down below. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we have an input out question here and it's question 13 and it says that Luke wants to make a number machine so that y is equal to fx plus 3. Here is his attempt. So we've got the input of x and then he adds 3 times by 5 and puts that output equal to y. And input basically means the number you put in, so the original number, and the y is going to be the output, so the new number after it goes through the machine. What mistake has he made? Let's create a formula for what Luke has done. So he's taken x and he's added 3 and then he's times that all by 5 and put that equal to y. You can also read it the other way around. Now we've got the formula, so we've got y is equal to x plus 3 all brackets times 5, and as you can see that is not the same as the original y is equal to 5x plus 3 which he was trying to create. He's basically done it in the wrong order or back to front. He should have times the original input of x by 5 and then added 3, but he added 3 and then times by 5. So that's basically what you need to write as the answer. I've written he added 3 and then multiplied by 5, but he should have multiplied by 5 and then added 3. So that was a 1-mark question and that should get you your mark. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have any comments or questions around this, please feel free to leave them down below and I'll get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 14 and it's a 4-mark question. It asks us to circle the solid that has 6 edges. So we've got a triangular base pyramid, a sphere, a cube and a cylinder. We're going to go through each of them one by one, work out how many edges they have and circle the one which has 6. So I think the best thing to do is pull up some images. So these are images of the 4 solids. Now you obviously won't be able to do this in the exam, but I would recommend brushing up on your solids, so your 3D shapes and also 2D shapes as well. So going through one at a time, let's start with a sphere. So a sphere actually has 0 edges. You can see there's no actual edge on the shape. So this has a 0 and we're going to cross it out because it obviously doesn't have 6 edges. Next up, let's look at the cylinder. So there's an edge at the top and an edge on the bottom, so where the circles meet the middle part. So this has 2 edges and this is obviously not 6 edges, so we cross that out as well. Next up we have a cube. So you can't actually see all the edges, but try to visualize that we have 4 edges on the top, so 1 2 3 4. We have 4 on the bottom and then we have 4 edges holding it all up, so 4 edges going along the side. So it has 12 edges overall, so this is obviously wrong as well. And then finally we have a triangular base pyramid. We can see we have 3 edges on the top part going towards that point and then 3 edges on the bottom. So the answer is going to be the triangular base pyramid. Pretty straightforward question once you see the shapes or solids. So hopefully that all made sense. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below. Best of luck with your maths and thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 15A from the past paper link down below and in the title, and this question is going to be about congruent shapes. So I'm going to explain what congruent means further along in the video. So yeah, let's get into it. So question 15A, on the grid shape A is shown, one side of shape B is also shown. We have a grid here, we have a shape A which looks a bit like an L Tetris piece, and then we also have a 3 square long line, and it says complete shape B so that it is congruent to shape A, and it's a 1 mark question. So let's first see what congruent means. Congruent in maths means to have the same shape and size. So we're going to draw shape B, which is basically the same as shape A because it's going to be the same size and have the same shape, but based on this line here, I'm assuming it's going to have a different rotation. So this 3 length long line here is going to be correlated to this line on shape A. I know that because there's only one 3 length side on shape A, so it must be this one. Now from here, we're just going to draw each line separately. So let's first draw this line. So that will be here on our shape. And then we have the yellow line, which will be here on this shape, and so on and so forth. Please feel free to, give this a try yourself until you complete the shape. So now we have shape B here, and it is congruent because it has the same shape and size. It just has a different rotation to shape A. So that's going to be the final answer. You get 1 mark for that. Seems like a lot of work for 1 mark, but fair enough. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you have any comments or questions or anything wasn't clear, feel free to just drop them down below and I'll get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so this is question 15b and today I'm going to teach you how to enlarge a shape with a scale factor 2. So question 15b, which is from the past paper link down below, it says on this grid shape C is shown. One side of shape D is also shown. Then we have a visual of a big grid. We have shape C, which is a triangle, and then we have one line of shape D. It says complete shape D so that it is an enlargement of shape C with scale factor 2, and it's a 1 mark question. So a scale factor 2 means to double the size of the shape, and we can do this by just doubling each side length of the shape. So we're going to take shape C, we're going to take all of the lengths and just double their lengths, and obviously keep them in the same direction. So the first lines we have here, I put them in blue. Now that's because on shape C, you can see it's 3 long, and it's also the only level line. And then on the beginning of shape D, you can see it is now 6 long, and it is also level, so it's still in the right kind of positioning, I guess. So next up, I want to draw this red line. So it's quite easy to do. All you have to think is, well, the original red line, it goes down by 2 blocks and then right by 1. So you can do that twice. You can go down by 2 blocks and then right by 1, and then down by 2 blocks and then right by 1 again. Or you can say, well, everything has to be doubled. So it's going to be going down by 4 blocks and across by 2 blocks. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then for the last line, you can use a similar technique. You can see it goes diagonally across 2 blocks twice in the original one. So I'd be doing that 4 times on the new shape. Or you can just say, well, it's the only line left. We just got to connect the dots. That's like another way of looking at it. And that's pretty much how you enlarge a shape by a scale factor of 2. So we're going to label this D now. And that's pretty much it. That'll get you your 1 mark. If you have comments or questions, leave them down below. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we have question 16a here. It's from the past paper link down below, and we're going to be discussing the modal number of visits. Modal also refers to the mode when you're looking at a data set. So question 16 says 40 students were asked the number of visits they made to a gym one week. The chart shows information about the results. The chart here, we have the number of students on the y-axis and the number of visits on the x-axis. And you can see, for example, 7 students went 0 times, 10 students went 1 time, and so on and so forth until it represents all the students. So for question 16a, it says write down the modal number of visits, 1 mark question. Now modal, also referred to as the mode, is the value which occurs most frequently in a data set. So in our data set, we're going to be looking at number of visits. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 visits. And the most common one is 1, and that's because that has 10, and the others have 7, 8, 7, 5, and 3. So number of visits 1 is going to be the modal for this data set because that has the most number of students associated with it. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If it didn't, leave any comments or questions down below. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're doing question 16b and we're going to be working out the mean number of visits. This is from the past paper link down below, and just a quick recap of the question. With 40 students and they were asked the number of visits they made to a gym one week. The chart shows information about the results. We have the chart here and it shows the number of visits and how many students went for those number of visits. So question 16b asks, work out the mean number of visits, give your answer as a decimal, and it's a 3 mark question. So we're going to want to work out the number of visits and the number of students, and then we're going to work out the mean, which is pretty much the average, using those 2 values. So if we want to work out the total number of visits, we're going to take the number of visits in the chart and times that by the number of students. So for example, 7 students went 0 times, 10 students went once, 2 students went 8 times, 8 students went 2 times, and so on and so forth until you get this here. So it's 0 times times 7 plus 1 times 10, etc., etc. And this is going to be equal to 82. So this is the total number of visits among all the students for that week. Next up, we want to work out the number of students. Now it does say at the top 40 students, but if you weren't told that, or if you wanted to work it out, you can just add the total number of values from the chart. So we've got a 7, we've got a 10, we've got an 8, and we just add them all up, and that's also going to give us 40 students. So the mean, like I said, which is pretty much the average, we just take the number of visits divided by the number of students. So it's going to be 82 divided by 40, which is going to be equal to 2.05, and it asks us to give it as decimal, so it's going to be 2.05. And what we're basically doing here is just finding the average number of visits per student for the week. So on average, you know, a student visited 2.05 times. Obviously, it wasn't 2.05 visits for each student, but this is the mean or the average. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have any comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below. Best of luck with your maths, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be looking at a probability question. This is question 16C, and it's from the past paper link down below. So just a recap of question 16 if you didn't watch the other videos. It says 40 students were asked the number of visits they made to a gym one week. The chart shows information about the results. You can see the chart here. On the y-axis it has the number of students, and on the x-axis it has the number of visits. And using this chart you can see how many students visited either 0, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times to the gym in that week. So for example, 7 students went 0 times that week, 10 students went once, and so on and so forth. So question 16C says, one of the 40 students is chosen at random. Work out the probability that the student visited the gym at least once, and it's a 2-mark question. So we know we have 40 students overall for the week. So because we're looking at people who visited the gym at least once, we're going to be looking at the group of students who visited once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times, so this highlighted area. And we're not going to be including everyone who didn't visit, so the 0 visits, they're not going to be included in our probability. So if we want to work out the probability that a student visited the gym at least once, we're going to be looking at 1 to 5, and all we have to do is add them up. So 10 students went once, 8 went twice, and then so on and so forth till we have 10 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3. And that's going to be equal to 33. So during that week, 33 of the students went at least once. So the probability of a student going at least once is 33 over 40. And it's 33 out of 40 because there's 40 total students. That's stated at the top of the question, and also previously we added up all the students and we got 40. So it's going to be 33 out of 40. So 33 out of 40 is the final answer for our probability. The fraction also can't be simplified either, but it didn't ask to give it in its most simplest form, so it doesn't matter anyway. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have any comments or questions, please just drop them down below. Best of luck with all your maths, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing a past paper question on to scale. So for example, a map is to scale, so you may have 1 centimeter representing a meter or a kilometer in real life. That's what I mean when working to scale. We're going to be tackling question 17 from the past paper listed in the title. There will also be a copy of the past paper in the description if you are interested, and this video will be part of a playlist also. So question 17 says this scale drawing of a bus has length 8 centimeters. We have a black and white visual representation of the bus. It's labeled as 8 centimeters, and then the scale says 1 centimeter represents 1.65 meters. The actual length of the bus is 3.8 times the actual length of a car. Work out the actual length of the car, give your answer in meters to the nearest centimeter, and this is a 3-mark question. So let's first work out the actual length of the bus, because we're able to do that with what we're given, and then from there we can work out the actual length of the car. So with past papers, it's always best to work out what you can do and what bit of information you can find, because that often leads to the next bit of information. So we can find the bus length because we know it is 8 centimeters long, and 1 centimeter represents 1.65 meters. So if we want the actual length of the bus, all we have to do is 8 times 1.65 meters, and that's going to give us 13.2 meters. So we know the length of the bus, but we want to find the length of the car. Well, we know the bus is 3.8 times the length of the car, and we have the actual length of the bus. So if we just divide the length of the bus by 3.8, it will give us the actual length of the car. So 13.2 meters, which is the length of the bus, divided by 3.8 is equal to 3.47368421.053 meters. And we are asked to give our answer in meters, but to the nearest centimeter. So 100 centimeters makes up 1 meter. So we want to look at the second figure after the decimal place. In this case it's 7, which brings us to 3.47. Now after the 7 there is a 3, so we will be rounding down so it will stay as 3.47. So our final answer given in meters to the nearest centimetre is going to be 3.47 meters. Now I didn't go into a lot of detail about every single step, so if you do have any comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below and I'll go into more detail there. I hope that helped. Best of luck with your maths. If you want to support the channel, that'd be amazing. Best of luck again and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing question 18 from the past paper link down below, and we're going to be working out whether the white paint can be added to the bucket. So just to run through of question 18, it says 11 identical full tins of red paint hold a total of 3,630 milliliters. All the paint from 4 of these tins is poured into an empty bucket. The bucket can hold 2,500 milliliters. Tins of white paint each hold 140 milliliters. Can all the white paint from 9 tins be added to the bucket? You must show your work in, and this is a 4-mark question. So let's first work out how much paint is in each individual red tin. So a red paint tin is going to be 3,630 milliliters divided by 11, because the total amount of red paint is 3,630 milliliters and there's 11 full tins of red paint. So working out that calculation, it gives us 330 milliliters per tin, and they said that they're going to pour 4 tins into an empty bucket. So let's do 4 times 330 milliliters. That gives us 1,320 milliliters. So that's how much red paint is in the bucket. We know the bucket can hold 2,500 milliliters. So let's take the capacity of the bucket and subtract the red paint we've already put in it to work out how much room is left in the bucket. So 2,500 milliliters minus 1,320 milliliters is equal to 1,180 milliliters. That's how much room we have left in the bucket. They then talk about how tins of white paint each hold 140 milliliters, and they ask us whether 9 tins of white paint can be added to the bucket. So we know we have 1,180 milliliters of room left, so let's work out how much room the 9 tins of white paint will take up. So we do 9 times 140 milliliters, and that's going to be equal to 1,260 milliliters. So the amount of white paint is 1,260 milliliters, which is larger than the room left in the bucket, which is 1,180 milliliters. So the answer is no, not all the white paint can be added. So if you follow this video and answer a question like this, you should get all 4 marks. Now if you do have any comments or questions, please feel free to just drop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths. Any support for the channel would be very much appreciated, and thanks for watching. Hey everybody, so welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're going to be doing question 19 from paper 3 November 2022 Foundation AQA. If you want a link to the paper, or if you want to see the playlist for the paper, look down below and it should be in the description. So question 19, the largest possible value of n is 2. Circle the correct inequality, and it's a 1-mark question. So we have a few different inequalities here. So for example, n is less than or equal to 2, n is less than 2, and we have a couple more. So let's just look at what the question is stating. So the largest possible value of n is 2. Okay, so n can be equal to 2, we know that. And then by the fact it says the largest possible value, it also means n can be 2 or it has to be less than 2. So currently we have n can be equal to 2, but n can also be less than 2. So if you say that together, n is going to be equal to or less than 2. And when you say that and compare it to some of the inequalities, it's a lot more obvious which one it is. So it's obviously going to be n is less than or equal to 2, which is this one. And I think just going through the question, reading it out again, just kind of explaining that statement yourself and writing it in a different way, that's one way to kind of just work out what the correct inequality is. So quite a quick question, I hope it helped. If you do have any comments or questions about this question, drop them down below. I'll do my best to get back to you there, and I can go into any more detail if you need it or anything like that. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Any support for the channel is very much appreciated, and best of luck with all your maths. Hey everyone, so we have question 20A from the past paper in the title. It should also be linked down below, and this video will be part of a playlist also. So question 20 says Jamil is on holiday in France. Question 20A says the cost of a room in a hostel is 27 euros. Convert the cost to pounds, use £1 equaling 1.2 euros, and this is a 2-mark question. So all we have to do for this, as it is a calculator exam, is we take the 27 euros and we can just divide it by 1.2, because £1 is 1.2 euros. So if we divide the euros by 1.2, it's going to give us what it is equal to in a pound. So 27 divided by 1.2 is equal to 22.5. So the answer is going to be 22.5 pounds. otherwise known as £22.50. Cool. Hopefully that makes sense. Any comments or questions, drop them down below, and best of luck with your maths.
So we have question 20b from the past paper listed above, and there should be a copy of the paper below, along with a playlist of all the questions up until this point answered. So question 20b says, Jamil rides a motorbike. The motorbike uses 1 litre of petrol for every 14 miles. How many litres of petrol does the motorbike use to go 168 kilometres? Use the fact that 8 kilometres is equal to 5 miles. And this is a 3-mark question. So when we're looking at 168 kilometres, let's convert that to miles, because we know that 1 litre of petrol is going to give us 14 miles, and we can use the ratio of 8 kilometres to 5 miles to convert the 168 kilometres into miles. So we know 8 kilometres is equal to 5 miles. So if we wanted to rearrange this equation and divide both sides by 8, so we're going to get rid of this 8 here and then divide the other side by 8, we can work out 1 kilometre is equal to 5 over 8 miles. We have 168 kilometres, so 168 times 5 over 8, because 1 kilometre is 5/8 of a mile. That's going to give us 105 miles. You also know you're on the right track doing this because a mile is actually longer than a kilometre, so you will have a lower unit of measure that is equivalent. Does that make sense? So for example, 168 kilometres, converting that, it's not going to be, 200 miles or 300 miles. It should be a lower value because it's a larger unit of measure. Next up, we know that 1 litre of petrol gets us 14 miles on the motorbike. So if we take 105 and divide it by 14, we will see how many litres of petrol we need. So let's do 105 divided by 14, and that's going to give us 7.5 litres. So the final answer is 7.5 or 7.5. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that helped. Any comments or questions, drop them down below. Best of luck with your maths, and thanks for watching the video. So we have question 21a and b from the past paper link down below, and in the title, this will be part of a playlist, so I've answered all the questions in this paper up until this point. If you want to check that out, that should be linked down below also. So let's look at question 21. So it says the scatter graph shows the height and mass of some dogs. On the y-axis, we have the mass in kilograms, so it goes from 0 to roughly 35, or I guess you could say 40 kilograms. And on the bottom, so the x-axis, we have the height, and it skips from 0 to 35, so it goes from 35 centimeters to 65 or 70 centimeters. And we have some plots on the graph, so these x's are plots of particular dogs, and it's correlated, between their mass and then their height. You can see where it's been plotted. So question 21a says the scatter graph shows positive correlation. Describe the relationship between height and mass of the dogs. So positive correlation means when one goes up, the other goes up also, as opposed to negative correlation where one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So with positive correlation, as one will go up, so will the other. So in this case, as the mass or the height of the dog goes up, the other one increases also, which makes sense because if you have a bigger dog, it's probably going to be taller. And if you have a taller dog or higher height dog, it's probably going to have more mass also. So if we need to describe the relationship between height and mass, we would say as the height increases, the mass of the dog tends to increase also. Now you could probably have outliers. You could have a really tall but skinny dog or a really short and stocky dog, but those are more extremes. This is the general trend, so this is how I would describe it, and that should get you your mark. Then for question 21b, it says use a line of best fit to estimate the mass of a dog with height 48 centimeters, 2 marks. And yeah, so let's first put a line of best fit on the graph. So a line of best fit is we're going to draw a straight line that best represents the overall trend of the graph. So the idea is to draw a line with the minimum amount of space between all the points. That's the mathematical way of saying it, but basically draw a straight line which best fits the trend. So I put my red line here, and now using that we need to estimate the mass of a dog with height of 48 centimeters. So let's draw a line going straight up from 48 centimeters, and then if we draw a corresponding horizontal line from that point, it will give us the estimated mass of the dog. So I've gone for between 20 and 21, so it looks like it's going to be 20.5 kg for the height of a 48 centimeter dog. So if you do that and you read it off within a correct reading, I think it's like within plus or minus a half square, you should still get the mark. So basically just do that and you'll get the 2 marks. And yeah, hopefully that made sense. If you have any comments or questions about this or about reading a graph or anything like that, just drop them down below. I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths, and thanks so much for watching.
Hey everyone, so question 22 here from the past paper in the title, and also linked down below there should be a copy there, along with a playlist of every question up until this point in the past paper. So this one and the questions before, they should be answered in the playlist linked down below, and also a link if you want to support the channel at all, which would be very much appreciated. So question 22 says, ABCDE is a pentagon. So for those of you who don't know, a pentagon is a 5-sided shape. It says it's not drawn accurately, and we have a few different length sides, and we have the height, and yeah, we have a lot of different measurements. And it says work out the area of the pentagon. So the first thing I can see off the bat is that if we want to work out the area, we can kind of break this down into two shapes. So the first one is this trapezium here. So all we have to do is label the parts such as A, B, and height, and then we can use the area of a trapezium formula, and we can work out the area of this first section. So the area of a trapezium is A plus B divided by 2, then times it all by height. So we will label our trapezium with A, H, and B. So H is the height, and then A is one of the sides and B is the other side. In this case, A is the top side and B is the bottom side. And then yeah, you can pretty much just throw these values into the formula. So we can see A is 14 centimeters, H is 11 centimeters, and B is 20 centimeters. So throwing them in, we get area of trapezium equal to 14 centimeters plus 20 centimeters over 2. All times 11 centimeters. That gives us 34 centimeters over 2 times 11 centimeters, and then that's going to be equal to 17 centimeters times 11 centimeters, and that's going to be equal to 187 centimeters squared. So hopefully that bit was straightforward how I did those calculations. Leave a comment if not, and I'll explain it further. So now we've got our first bit of area worked out. The next part we want to work out is this little triangle. So you can see it's separated with that dotted line. So because it's a right angled triangle, we can work it out as if it's going to be a square or rectangle in this case, and the rectangle is going to be 10 by 7 centimeters, so this blue shape here. And because it's a right angled triangle, we can just split it in two because those two halves are going to be equal in size. So for example, we will do 10 times 7 centimeters. That's going to be equal to 70 centimeters squared, and then dividing it by 2 because we only want half of that area, that's going to give us 35 centimeters squared. So the final answer is going to be 187 centimeters squared plus 35 centimeters squared, and that is going to be equal to 222 centimeters squared. So that's our final answer. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them down below. I hope that helped. Best of luck with all your maths, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we've got question 23 here from the past paper link down below. So question 23 says Joe, Kim and Lisa each have an amount of money. Joe has £72. Joe's amount to Kim's amount is 6:5 as a ratio. Lisa's amount is 1.5 times Joe's amount, and then it says that show that in total they have less than £250, and it's a 3-mark question. So first thing I decided to do is find Kim's amount, as we know Joe's amount and we also know their relative ratio. So for every £6 Joe has, Kim has £5. So we take Joe's amount of £72, divide it by 6, and then times it by 5. That's basically applying that 6:5 ratio. So it's going to be £72 over 6 times 5, and that's going to give us £60, and that's going to be Kim's amount. Next, let's work out Lisa's amount. So we take the £72 of Joe, and we know Lisa has 1.5 times Joe's amount, so we times it by 1.5, and that's going to give us £108. So £108 is Lisa's amount, and now we know everyone's individual amount. We can just add them all up and see if they add to less than £250. So the total amount is £72 plus £60 plus £108. That's going to be equal to £240. £240 is less than £250, so they have less than £250. So that's the final answer. It should get you all 3 marks. Any comments or questions, drop them down below, and best of luck with your maths. Hey everyone, so this is question 24 from the past paper link down below. So question 24 says a solid statue has volume of 512 centimeters cubed. The statue has mass 3.6 kilograms, and it tells us that the density of iron is 7.87 grams per cubic centimeter. Is the statue made of iron? You must show your work in, and it's a 3-mark question. So we're given the volume of our statue and the mass of our statue. Let's multiply the volume of our statue by the density of iron and see if it matches up with our mass, and if it does, we're going to know that our statue is made of iron. So we take the volume of our statue of 512 centimeters cubed, and we times it by 7.87 0.7 gram. That's going to give us 4,029.44 grams. So our statue is 3.6 kilograms, which is 3,600 grams. So if our statue was made out of purely iron, it would weigh 4,029.44 grams, but ours only weighs 3,600 grams. So as the values do not match, so our 4,029 gram statue is not equal to the 3,600 gram, the statue is not made from iron. So that should get you all 3 marks. You need to also make sure that you state that 3.6 kg is equal to 3,600 grams. I took that for granted when I was doing it, but then when I looked back on the mark scheme, that's one of the marks of the 3. So got to make sure you remember that, even if it seems really simple to you. But if you follow this, you should get all 3 marks. And if you have any comments or questions, drop them down below and I'll try and get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hopefully it all made sense. Hey everyone, so we have question 25A from the past paper link down below, and it says, here is the rule for a sequence. After the first 2 terms, each term is the sum of the previous 2 terms. The first term is 33, the second term is x, the fourth term is 73, and it asks us to work out the value of x, and this is a 3 mark question. So as it says, we can work out the next term by adding the last 2 terms together. Let's work out term 3. So term 3 is going to be term 1 plus term 2, so it's going to be 33 plus x. And I know we're given a numerical value of term 4 as 73, but let's add term 2 and term 3 and work out what term 4 is equal to. So term 4 is going to be x plus 33 plus x, because we're adding term 2, which is x, to term 3, which we worked out just now, to 33 plus x. So term 4 is equal to x plus 33 plus x, but we're also told term 4 is equal to 73. So we've got to this point by using the definition above and also the bit of information that term 4 is equal to 73. So we've got 2 ways to define term 4, and using that we can work out the value of x. So now we've got our equation of x plus 33 plus x is equal to 73. Let's simplify the left hand side. Adding the x's, we have 2x plus 33 is equal to 73. Taking 33 from both sides, we have 2x is equal to 40, and that leaves us with x equaling 40 when we divide both sides by 2. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If I've missed anything or you have any questions, just feel free to drop a comment down below. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. So we have question 25B from the foundation paper linked down below, and I've answered every question up until this point. If you want to check out the playlist on my channel also, which I will put down below. So question 25B, an expression for the nth term of a different sequence is n minus n squared. Ruth says all the terms will be negative because n squared is always greater than n. That's not actually true. Is she correct? Tick a box, yes or no. Give a reason for your answer, 1 mark. So as I said during reading the question, I commented saying that her statement was not always true, but we'll get into that in a sec. So the example I've given to disprove the expression is that when n is equal to 1, it's not going to be negative because we're going to have 1 minus 1 squared, which is just 0. But I also kind of commented on the fact that Ruth said all the terms will be negative because n squared is always greater than n. That's not actually true if you square a number between 0 and 1. So I believe, I will double check this, for example, if you square 0.5, it will give you 0.25. Like, you know, when you square decimals between 0 and 1, I believe they get smaller. So that's not true. And also the general statement is true because we've proven that by the fact that I've put n equal to 1, which will give us 1 minus 1 squared, which is 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. So 0 is not a negative. So as long as you give an example the same as mine, so for example 1 minus 1 squared, or you can do, for example, as I spoke before, using a decimal between 0 and 1, the statement will ring true and that will be a reason for your answer, and then you can tick no box and you will get your 1 mark. Hopefully that was clear, hopefully it made sense. If it didn't, leave any comments or questions down below and I'll get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we have question 26 from the past paper link down below. It says that P and Q are points. The x-coordinate of Q is 4 more than the x-coordinate of P. The y-coordinate of Q is 5 less than the y-coordinate of P. Work out the gradient of the straight line through P and Q, and this is a 2-mark question. So in the mark scheme, I remember looking over it and they set P as 0, 0, but I answered the question slightly differently. So I let P equal AB because we don't really know what P is, but if we say it's AB, then we can work out Q. And that's because we're told the relative relative coordinates of x, y for q are 4 more than p for the x coordinate and 5 less than p for the y coordinate. So q is going to be equal to a plus 4 and b minus 5. If you're not sure how I got to this point, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you there. So now we have our points or equations representing the points of p and q relative to one another. We can use the equation for the gradient of a straight line because it does say that we're working with a straight line through p and q. And that equation is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. M stands for the gradient of a straight line. So for the 2 values, I'm going to be using q, and for the 1 values, I'm going to be using p. So we sub them in. So that's going to be equal to b minus 5 minus b over a plus 4 minus a. And then we can simplify that quite easily. So b minus b is 0 and a minus a is 0, leaving us with minus 5 over 4. So the final answer is going to be minus 5 over 4 for the gradient of the straight line. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you want me to go into any more detail in anything, let me know down below. If you answer this question a different way, you can also let me know as well. I hope that helped. If you want to support the channel, I've got a link down below, and obviously, as I said before, leave any comments or questions below. Anyway, I hope this video helped, and best of luck with all your maths. Thanks for watching.
Hey everyone, so welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time here. Today I'm going to be answering question 27 from the past paper link down below. Let's get into it. So question 27 says m is equal to PR, p is halved and r is multiplied by 3. What happens to m? Circle your answer. It's a 1 mark question and we have 4 options of times 6, times 1 6, etc, etc. So what I wanted to do first is let's halve the p and then multiply the r by 3 like it says in the question. So our formula is now going to look like this. So we have m is equal to half p 3r. So when things are next to each other like that, it just means they're multiplied by one another. So for example, it was m is equal to pr. Now it's m is equal to a half times p times 3 times r. So we've multiplied r by 3 and times p by half. Simplifying this out a bit, we're going to get 3 over 2 times pr. So m is equal to 3 over 2 times pr. So m previously was equal to pr. So it's 3 over 2 times bigger. So that's going to be our answer. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. I know I went through it quite quick, but if you have any comments or questions or you want me to go into more detail, just let me know down below and I'll get back to you there. Best of luck with your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing question 28 from the past paper link down below. So it says here are the results after 250 spins of a coin. We have a table which says 128 heads and 122 tails. The coin is spun an extra 50 times. After all 350 spins, the relative frequency of heads is 0.49. For the extra 50 spins, work out the number of heads to number of tails. And this is a 3 mark question. So we showed the amount of heads and tails in that top box. That's for the first 250 spins. We have 128 heads and 122 tails. And we're also told the total amount after the 300 in some sense because we're told the relative frequency. So if there were 300 spins and the relative frequency of heads is 0.49, let's times 300 by 0.49 and that will give us the total amount of heads. So total heads is equal to 300 times 0.49 and that's going to be equal to 147. So the remainder are going to be tails, I presume. They haven't described that the coin can land on its side, so I'm assuming the rest will be tails. So total tails is going to be 300 minus 147 because it's going to be minus the heads. That's going to leave us with 153 tails. So now we've got the results from the first 250 spins and then the results from the 300 spins. So all we have to do now is look at the difference and we can work out how many heads there were and how many tails. So the head difference is going to be 147 minus 128. That's going to leave us with 19. That's because the final result is 147 heads and the result from the first 250 is 128 heads. So during those extra 50 spins, there were 19 heads. And the tail difference is going to be 153 minus 122, which is equal to 31. So the frequency will be 19 to 31 of heads to tails for those 50 spins. And that should get you all 3 marks. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it was clear. If you do have any comments or questions, just let me know down below and I'll try and get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we have question 29 from the past paper link down below, and it asks us to circle the equation where C is inversely proportional to D
and this is a 1 mark question. So we have 4 options here. Now the form of having C and D inversely proportional would be in this form. So C is inversely proportional because it's proportional to 1 over D. So this means we're looking for something in the form of C is equal to K over D. So with 1 and 3 we can see D is on the top, it's not on the bottom, so it's not on this form. And then with 2 and 4 we do have a D on the bottom, but for number 4 it's a D squared, it's not just a D. So the only one actually in this form is going to be C is equal to 2 over D. So for our form C is equal to K over D, where K is a constant, that would be equal to 2. So number 2 is the only one in the correct form, so that's the correct answer for this question. As always, any comments or questions, drop them down below. Best of luck with your maths, and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing question 30 from the past paper link down below. It says that part of a running track is the arc of a semicircle joined to a straight line. The semicircle has diameter 45 meters. The straight line has length 75 meters. Says it's not drawn accurately, and then we obviously have the visual of the 75-meter straight line, and then we have the diameter, which is kind of the height of the semicircle, the way it's drawn. It then says Abby runs once along this part of the track in 18 seconds. Work out her average speed, give your answer to 2 significant figures, and this is a 4 mark question. So we need to work out the length of the rest of the track. We know the straight line part is 75 meters, but we don't know the length of the curved part of the track. We just know its height or diameter. So the circumference of a circle, that's the distance around the whole circle, is equal to pi times diameter. Obviously we're not working with a full circle, we're working with a semicircle. So if we find the distance around a whole circle, we can just divide it by 2 and that will give us the distance around a semicircle. So the circumference of the whole circle would be pi times 45 meters because we're just doing pi times diameter. So that's going to give us 45 pi meters, and then we're going to divide it by 2 because we're working with a semicircle, so 45 pi meters over 2 is 22.5 pi meters. Great, so the total distance is going to be 75 meters because that's the straight line, plus the distance of the semicircle, which is 22.5 pi meters, and that's just going to be 75 plus 22.5 pi meters. We'll just keep it like that for now. Next up, we use the fact that speed is equal to distance divided by time. So these are things that you're just going to have to kind of learn or remember, and you might think, okay, well, we have the distance and the time now, so we can work out the speed because we're asked to work out the average speed. So this is going to be equal to distance over time, which is 75 plus 22.5 pi meters divided by 18 seconds. Obviously a bit of a difficult distance, but just make sure you put it into the calculator correctly and it should be fine. This is going to give us 8.09365, etc, etc. Now we're asked to give it to 2 significant figures. So 2 significant figures, it wouldn't be 8.09 because once you get the significant figure, the other figures start counting as significant figures, if that makes sense. So if we had to write this to 2 significant figures, we would be writing it as 8.1. So the answer is going to be 8.1 meters per second. So there are a couple of components to that question. So if you want me to go into any more detail about any part of it, just leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to get back to you there. Best of luck with all your maths and thanks for watching. Hey everyone, so we're looking at question 31 from the past paper link down below. This is going to be the last question in the paper. The playlist will be on my channel, and as usual, drop any questions down below. So question 31 says, here is some information about the members of clubs A and B. The table shows club A and club B on the left. At the top it shows number of members and the mean height of members. So we've got 24 members in club A with a mean height of 1.8 meters, and then we've got 20 members in club B with a mean height of 1.92 meters. It says to work out the total height of the members of club A divided by the total height of the members of club B. Give your answers decimal, and this is a 2 mark question. So let's work out the total height of the club A members. We're going to do 24 times 1.8 meters. That's going to give us 43.2 meters. For club B, it will be 20 times 1.92 meters. That's going to give us 38.4 meters. So we take 43.2 meters divided by 38.4 meters, and that's going to give us 1.125. They asked for the answer as a decimal, so we're going to keep it as 1.125. So that wraps up the paper. I hope it helped anyone going through it. As usual, leave any comments down below. Best of luck with all your maths, and thanks for watching.